Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be continuing with this little sidebar that we created from last video. We want to add some more stuff to this, finish it up, create some lists so we can hold multiple to-dos. So the first thing I want to do is actually create a log out button. And for the log out button to work, because we don't really need a login button unless they're logged out. So we basically have two different menus, a menu when they're logged in and a menu when they're logged out. So first I'm going to create the menu that happens when they're already logged in, if that makes sense. They're logged in, and then we'll have like some functionality. I'll switch between them. So now whenever they click this button to actually log them out, what we want to do is take them to the we want to log them out. So the best way to log them out is to clear the token from, I think the best way to do is to dispatch like a clear action. So I'm going to create an action. It's called export const clear. No, we'll just call it log out actually. And so this will take, it doesn't need any parameters, and that's just going to spit out type logout. That's good. We're properly mapping it to the props. So the actions and the props, because we already have it set up. So we're going to log out, and then we actually need to do something with the reducer. So token log out. The token is now equal to an empty string. And then our epic, we also need to unsave their token. So this is going to be a log out epic. Before I forget, let's put it here. And action is going to be of type log out. And then is there a certain page we want to take them to after they log out? Probably the login page. And then we're going to save the token. But this time the token is going to be an empty string. And then you can map the action log out. And we'll say token cleared. Okay. So now let's test it. Come over here. Refresh. Navigation drawer components navigation drawer doesn't exist, and then we're importing it. I think that's in our index folder. Drawer. Nope, maybe in a router. Oops, I see it. So I'm just importing something that doesn't exist there. Unexpected token, and this is in our menu actions file. So if I come over to that, menu actions, and I just forgot to put an equal sign because this is a lambda function we made. Okay, so we're logged in. Can pull over to the side, push this button to log out. Log out is not a function. So I need to do this dot props. We're not, it's not a actions component. Okay, we logged out. And it is cleared. And then we're moving to the login page. I'm not sure what the problem is. If I refresh, I think we'll be in the login page. Yep, and it works just fine. If I click log out there, it works just fine, but it looks like we're going to get an error. What I think the error is when we clear the token, GraphQL is trying to do a query or something. Unhandled. So successfully redirect, add token, log out, token saved, token cleared. I'm actually not quite sure why I would be doing a error for this. I wonder if we should just one way around this. Oops. Is if I think we do actions dot login. We just go into the login page and then we log out. And now if I go to my Epic, we don't have to worry about going to the login page. Because what I think it's happening is we're removing the token and then we're going to the login page, and so we're still trying to retrieve like some GraphQL stuff. bob@bob.com. But if we move to the login page, we're no longer requesting GraphQL stuff, so it shouldn't be a problem. What's going on now? There we go. I don't know why it does that sometimes, where it just goes to the last panel. Okay, we're still getting this problem. I'm just going to remove if I go to back to the menu, I want to try just moving to the login page, and I want to see if it's actually moving to the login page that is the problem, or if it's like clearing the token that it doesn't like. Okay, so it can move to this page fine. It's when we actually log out. So I'm curious, I'm pretty sure it's the reducer that's messing things up. So here's what I think is happening. When we do log out, it's going to reducers, it's going to this token reducer, and it's now setting the token to just like a blank token, and now the token prop has changed. So now it's coming over here to the home page, and it's like, oh, we have to re-render this component because the token has been re-rendered, has been set to empty string. That doesn't do anything. And actually, maybe we can tell it not to re-render. See, because it would be in actions. See how we're grabbing this token prop? So whenever the token is updated, it's going to re-render this view right here. And so this view does a GraphQL subscription. So that subscription is going to crash because the token is going to be empty. Now I'm curious, what if we just do a malformed token? Will that just go through regular GraphQL error, and then we'll be okay? No. Same problem. I'm curious though if I get rid of this and I just clear it from the permanent storage. So bob at bob.com, bob login, okay. Now log out, okay. And now if I refresh, I should still not be logged in. Cool. So setting that token messes things up. So now what happens if I log out and I sign in with a different user though? I want to make sure, I think I created another Bob user. That was just Bob. Okay, I did. Okay, that seems to work just fine. So actually, let's not even update the reducer here. Keep it like this. Okay. So I like that. So let's add this to version control real quick. So we got log out button. Before we go any further, I want to add a little bar at the top here. And I think maybe it's the router I can do it in. Because I said hide nav bar. So if I get rid of the hide nav bar with nothing, if I refresh, oh, we don't want to do that though. We don't want to go back to loading ever. And notice how this blocks. Okay, I don't like that at all. Go back. I think we want to add the nav bar to this maybe. Your index page. Kind of where the status bar is. So nav bar React Native. I think it's called a nav bar. This is kind of what we want. And we just want the actually, you know what? What we're calling a nav bar is really just a view. So I can actually just create this myself instead of downloading a library. So I can just call this view, and you know what? This is actually a component I can make. And it's not going to need any navbar.js. This is going to be basically a single thing. So let's actually first go back to, I want to import it. It's going to be a pure just functionality, or not functionality, design component. So I'm not going to make it into a whole React class. I'm just going to say Nav Bar. And then we can import Nav Bar from components / Nav Bar. Now, should Nav Bar be a capital B though? Yeah, that's fine, I guess. And I want a full screen Nav Bar now. Basically, I want to close this. There we go. So import view and text from React Native. And then we're just going to say export default props. We might add some props later. And then for now, a real simple return. We're just going to say view. And then we're going to have a text that says the name of our app. To-dos, we'll just say, for now. So now refresh that. Just import React from React. Whenever you make a component, there needs to be React imported. Okay, didn't render. Could it be I just need a login? No, because it should show it no matter what. Okay, I see it here. I don't see it here. Is email blocking it? I want to come back here also to this. We don't need either of those anymore since we got it working. I want this basically. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. So how do I add a little band at the top like that? Hackathon starter kit. Let's use that. React Native Hackathon starter kit. Let's see how they do it. So it looks like they have, go on, yep. So app container. Okay, so this is how they just do their view at the top. It's a menu component. Source, logo, images. Wait, what? That should be when it opens though. This is different. Because let me see what their project looks like. I want the hackathon starter one. So this is the app container. What about app.js? Here are tabs. We don't care about tabs. All I want is the view at the top. I don't know why the view at the top isn't loading for the login page. Just get rid of the status bar for a second. Huh. Just renders. What if I just say style margin bottom 50? Not even affected. It's like it's not even rendering on this. Okay, let's say fine, it doesn't render for whatever reason. Let's try adding the nav bar here. That seems to work a little bit better. And our actual router, whoops, come back over here. Yep, now we actually get it. Look at that, to-dos. Okay. Now let's actually style it so it looks much nicer. Okay. So we're gonna say flex1. I think that should expand it to the whole length of this. What the heck? Really messed that up. Do I have the drawer open by default? So flex1 is not what we want. No, is open is false. Okay. Okay, so we want the width of the phone. So get width React Native. Get width of phone and style sheet React Native. So this is kind of how you should style your React Native apps. Create kind of like a style sheet. So I'm going to practice that. There we go. And I just need to import style sheet. I think we need to import the dimensions. Doesn't say though. The simplest way to set the dimensions of components is by adding a fixed width and height to style. All dimensions in React Native are unitless and represent density independent pixels. Should I actually just use the grid? I should just use the grid from this to make this tile component slider grid component. Actually, that'll be super easy to make. Okay, yeah, let's use the grid component. And I want an icon. So that'll be at the top. So import icon. And I want the triple bars hamburger menu. See if we can find the name of that. Kind of like this, kind of, but we only want 3 of them. Not tilted. D Hayes. Why is that the name of it? Let me see if there's any other one. Menu. That's what I want. So how did they do it? They did an icon, and then just the name. So icon name is equal to menu. And then I kind of want a gray. See what that looks like. Okay, we got our little menu and then to-dos here. And I think I might know what that status bar thing did before. I think that might just push the app down so you can actually see things. And if this works, I'll show you what I mean. So status bar, I think, notice how the status bar is blocking here? I think so what status bar might do is just like put an element here so it pushes everything down. Nope, didn't do that. Maybe there's React native status bar. Possibly I can give it something. Oh, it's to control the app status bar. We don't really need to do much with that, so let's not worry about it. Okay. So React native status bar on top of view. I'm just wondering what the best way is to like bring my view down a little bit, because right now it's the status bar is on top. Yeah, how do we get rid of that? What I usually do is add 2 key properties to the info plist file. Really, if I wrap it with control scroll view, it says it'll work. I like that fix if that actually I don't want to make it scroll. We'll just see just for the sake of it. Scroll view. Nope, that really didn't work. And that kind of messed up more things. Just give it some margin. I'm just curious what the best way to do it. Because you would think there'd be an easy way to just push under. You can choose plain laying on new property code edges for extended layout. I don't want to touch iOS code. So is this only an iOS problem? For now, I just want to say Nav Bar. This will be styles equal to styles dot container. Just say margin top 20. See what that looks like. Alright, that looks much nicer. Now let's set it to the width of the screen. The component can only expand to fill the available space if its parent has greater dimensions to 0. If the parent does not have any fixed width or height or flex, the parent will have dimension 0 and flex will not be visible. Here, okay, I need to import it from React Native. Dimensions. So const get the height and width. And now let's not do height for now, let's just do width. Okay, that didn't do it. So want to console.log width. Let's make sure we're getting a number. Go ahead and refresh. Clear this stuff out. 375. So let's set this to like 500 width. What happens? That's better. What about like 700? Let's set the width and then set background color to blue so we can see where it extends and where the boundaries. Okay, so the boundaries is this. I don't know what this weird gray thing is coming from. Is that just the navigation bar, I guess? What about instead of margin top we say padding? I believe that'll extend the blue all the way up. It does, and I think that looks a little nicer than having like this weird gray thing. Let's pick a nice color. Let's go to, how are we going to pick a nice color for our app? That's a nice color. I like that one. So I can minimize this and then get color picker. And I can copy the color. Whoops. Now let's re-render this. Okay, it's got this weird baby blue color. I'm not in love with the color, but it's better than it was before, so let's just keep that for now. Now I'd like to make this into a grid, or have this over here to the very left, and then I have like some kind of title in the middle. So to do that, what I think I'm going to do is we're going to create a grid. And I'm going to say column. We're going to have two of them. Put the icon in one and the text in the other. And I think the size we want is just going to be 75. Sorry, the text is going to be 75. This is going to be 25. See what that looks like. Okay, that was not what we wanted. Did I do the wrong components? We don't need this hackathon starter kit anymore. Don't need text input. You can shut down some of these tabs. We might add some icons later. Yeah, this is actually what we want to look at. Grid component. What was the size? Oh, 3:1. Nope, that didn't work either. What if I make grid the container? So yeah, what if I say this is grid? What doesn't I like about this? Okay, let's put that back. What if I get rid of the size? Is the size just throwing it off? I don't understand why it's not working nicely. Why is it no longer rendering? Am I doing grid wrong? Huh, they do size 25, 25 too. Grid, call. That looks alright. Is the grid just not rendering up here? Yeah, the grid just will not render. That's great. Actually, it should render. Why wouldn't it render? This is just a view. It's at the very top of the screen. There's no reason it shouldn't be rendering. I wonder if the padding, I bet the padding top is just throwing it off. I'm just going to get rid of this for a second and refresh. And now we can't see it at all. Padding top is good. Not good, but it's not affecting it. So we're setting the width. What if we set the flex of it, maybe? Flex 1. Nope. The grid just doesn't want to work all of a sudden. We got the grid working nicely. Where did I get the grid working nicely? Was it this page? Let's go see how I did the grid and what it looks like. I forgot where I put it, the grid. Oh, that's to do. That's like a little title. I'm going to give it a different name so I don't get this title confused with this. I thought I was rendering it, but it wasn't. Let's call this my to-dos. Now, if I get rid of the grid though, right, it will render again. It will. So where did I use the grid before? Forget what I used the grid for. Oh, it's for the to-do item. So let's see how I did that. I actually did almost the same thing. We did the size, we gave it on press. Alright, so let's see. Go back to Nav Bar. What if I put a grid underneath here? Just gonna like put it right there. Okay. So this will be C1. Refresh. Okay, doesn't render it, of course. Does this need to be a row? No. Whatever reason, it just will not render. Okay, forget about that, that's fine. I don't really need it to render. I will just use CSS, I guess. Oops, I got rid of too much. We can keep the icon because the icon is showing up. So now we want this to be all the way over here, and we want to pull this up. And I'm actually really bad at CSS, so just on first glance I'm not exactly sure how to do this. So we're going to do some experimenting. So we have the icon, and then we have the title. React Native CSS cheat sheet. Yeah, we want to align items in the cross direction. For example, if children are flowing vertically, align items. Okay, this looks kind of how we want to do it. Oh, we want to align items. Flex start, flex end. Yeah, how do I do that? Flex start, align items, flex start. Align items, flex start. What does that do? Nothing. I want to align left, I guess. Left is the number of pixels. Padding left. Top. Let's go to this cheat sheet. Okay, just do our exact problem. React Native. Text. Align left. And actually, maybe this has some props that we can use. Let's see, icons. Raise, reverse, on long. Nope, nothing. It did take us here. It didn't. Text align. So we can use text aligned center to get this in the center. Why didn't that work? This is being very picky. Oh, haha. So my thing could have been working. I didn't actually set it. I was making styles and not setting them to the actual component. Oops. Did not mean to pop that up. Okay. What if I said align items flex end? Nope, that's not going to do anything. What if I say left, even though you're not text? Okay, doesn't do anything. React Native align components horizontally. Haha, this is kind of what we want to do. This toolbar. Where's his toolbar? We want to see the styling he does on that. Come on, show us that. What's it called? Toolbar title. Toolbar title. Ah, he's not showing us the styles for that. Come on. This is the exact style we want. Where they're like this. Can we use Flexbox to do this? Okay. So Flexbox, align left. So flex container, justify items. Let's specify React Native. Flexbox, align left, React Native. Just read the documentation. You normally use a combination of flex directions and align items to justify to achieve the right layout. Flexbox works the same in React as it does in CSS. With a few exceptions, the defaults are different. In Flexbox, you have a column instead of row. In the Flex primarily support a single number. Oh, here we go. Flex direction, row. Flex direction, row. Flex direction, row. Now I'll get rid of these stylings. Haha, that's beautiful. Now we want to say, we want this guy to be more in the middle. And we want this guy to be bigger, I think. So how do we center it? Justify content, align items, center. But only one of them needs to be centered. So can I actually go into one item? To a component style towards distribution. Should be sure at the start, at the end, available options are. What if I just put it here? Does that work? What if I do text align center now? Okay, that doesn't do it. I think it was align items. Flexbox, one item in the middle. Yeah, this is basically what we want. Apply position absolute. Apply position relative to the flex container. Oh, actually, that's a good idea. So what we should do is we center this. We say come back. How did he center? Here's how he centered it. Okay, so we want to center ours like that. And then the icon x position 0. React native absolute position. So because we want all the way on the left side of the screen. Oh, align self. Let's do that. Huh, I thought align self would work. Align self controls how the child aligns in the cross direction. Overriding the align flex end. Let's do background color black, just so we can see how big this guy is. His section. Okay, so we want it to extend. Stretch, maybe. Okay, I want it to stretch the other way. Okay, that's not working. Row reverse, how does that? You know what? I actually just had a better idea. Why don't we just do these absolute? Because we know the width of the screen, we should just lay out these absolute. Okay, let's do that. I don't think this Flexbox is going to work for the type of layout that we want. So how do I set the absolute position? Position, here we go. Position absolute. Position React Native is similar to, but everything is set to relative by default. So absolute positioning is always just relative to the parent. If you want to position a child using sig numbers relative to the parent, set the parent to have a relative position. Okay, there it is. Position absolute. We can still do the flex row, I think, actually. And position absolute. Left. Left is going to be width divided by 2. And left is going to be 0 for position absolute. Okay, that kind of worked. But now that thing is all the way up there. Why did it come up here? My to-dos. Text, align, center. Will that do anything? Why is it doing that? I'm really bad with styling. Okay, for now, let's say forget about having a title. We're just going to have an icon right now. So the absolute position is not working at all, because I noticed when I got rid of the flex thing, it totally went away. So let's just leave it like that for now. And I want to make it a little bit bigger. I like the look of the one they had. Let's see, where is theirs? No. It was icons. No, was it side? Yeah, side menu. So what's the difference between theirs and mine? Mine needs a little bit padding left, padding bottom, and then it's about the same size, I think. So we just need to say padding bottom, like maybe 5. Const. It'll be left bottom padding. Left bottom padding. Padding left. Okay, that's a little bit better. Can I make it a little bit bigger actually? I'm just a little bit bigger. Size 26. Let's make it 30. Actually, that will be just this component, I think. Set the prop directly. Okay, I like that. Now, on press, what we will do is we will grab from our props a function that we will call props dot should we do it on press? No, because I don't want to get a naming callback. Let's see, props dot menu button clicked. And now our save, I need to save that side. Now here I can pass in menu button clicked. Constructor props this dots first call super this dot state we'll say is open false and this dot state dot is open. And when that is clicked, what we will do is we'll say this dot set state is open is now equal to the opposite of this dot state dot is open. Okay, so refresh. What happened? Anything? Okay. Console.log clicked. Okay. So our onPress is not working. So that would be our actual Nav Bar component. Oh, I actually need to call it. There we go. Cool. Now we can open and close our Nav Bar with our menu button. Get rid of that. So let's just look at that again. We can do that. We can log out. Smooth. So let's go ahead and save that because that's a good change. Nav bar with drawer icon. We'll push later. Okay. So we have a log out. Why is there so much space here? I kind of want to put like the, let's work more on the nav bar. Sorry, not the nav bar, the menu. Oh, padding top. We're just putting a ton of padding top. What happens if I get rid of padding top? Also, there's this weird gray color. I can change that color, it looks like. Okay, that's perfect. Now it's right at the top. I like that. And the first list item could be their their like username. So this will be -2. Title, we'll say this.props.user.email. And now we actually need to create that. And for now, onPress will do nothing. It'll just be show their email. So we need to actually create a reducer called user. And then we actually need to pass that in. User. And actually, let's map, oops. We need to map that. User is equal to this, or state.user. So now we have a reducer, export default. So the default state is going to be an object. Switch statement and action.type. Default, just return state. Case. I guess just set user. Return action.user. So we should get the user when we log in. So that'll be, oh, does that mean we need to persist them? Persist the user as well? Because if they're not logging in, or should we just do a call? First, I need to come back over here so this doesn't crash. If the email actually exists, then we show it. Else we just show an empty string. Okay. Now when they log in, we can set it. We don't need this stuff anymore. I guess it's fine to still print out the actions because that's helpful. So how do we want to get the user? Well, I guess we kind of want to just get the user every time. Okay, I know how we want to do this. So in the login page, when they log in, get the login mutation, then login succeeded. And when we log in, right now we're only grabbing the token, right? But I think we can actually grab more. Login. Gives us an authorized type. We can actually get data. And we can actually get their to-dos. Which we're not doing, that's fine. We really just want the email. So get the user, and then get the email as well. So when login succeeded, should we just make another? Yeah, sure we can. Another action that says set user. Actually, should be capital, I think. And then login, and then email. Actually, no, it's going to be called data. Because data is of type user. And then email. And then set user. So we need to create an action called set user. Set user, pass in a user, set user. Okay, so now when we log in, let's see if that works. That'll set the email for us. This.props that user evaluating. Should have at least gotten an empty email. Console.log this.props.user. Where's this.props.user? Should be an empty object. Console.render. Render undefined. Okay. Why is the user prop undefined though? Should be grabbing it from that. Is it because we haven't logged in? Well, I keep pushing Nav Bar instead of actually going into menu. So if this.props.user and this.props.user.email, let email is a string, email is equal to this.props.user.email. Okay, how about that? Wait, what? For all text must be wrapped in an explicit text component. So you're telling me I can't do that? Do I really need to do this? Really? Okay. Because it's a variable? I've never seen that before. Okay. Log out. Oops. Login failed. I was logging in fine with this a second ago. Let's try this one. Login failed. All my logins are failing now. Authentication token missing? What did I change that would affect this? bob@bob.com. Bob. Oh. I know what. I messed with the login query. That was supposed to be data. My fault. Okay. Now we should see Bob up here because we're getting Bob here. Sol.log data.login.data.email. Okay, refresh, log out. I need to change that. Whenever I push a button, it refreshes and closes the drawer. Okay, that's actually working. Okay. So then is our reducer not working, possibly? We're sending the action set user. So user, set user, action.user, we just console.log action.user. Setting user. And then, okay, that's our problem. I forgot to add it to the root reducer. Log out. I'm going to get rid of that. That's really annoying me. I'm capitalizing by default. Should get rid of it in the login. Is it actions? No, it's going to be view. Here we go. Text input, don't capitalize. React Native. Capitalize. Auto capitalize. None. What's the default? Don't auto capitalize anything. Auto capitalize. none. Let's copy that and also put in our sign up one. Cool. And let's see if it works over here. Cool. Nope, not seeing Bob. So let's come back over here. Let's make sure our reducer is being called and our reducer is getting the right stuff. So console.log set user, console.log action.user. Now this is where automated tests come in, where they'll automatically log in for you. I don't have to type this in every time. Okay, so set user. So Bob is being set correctly. So we can get rid of that. And our index here, user state.user, view. This.props.user.email. This is console.log this.props. User is an empty object. That's fine. And you would think I could do this.props.user.email. Does that work now? Okay, it does. Now let's log out. Now when I come back in, user is equal to a string. Got it, that's the problem. Our reducer, not reducer, R. All the way back here, login index, actions, view, we don't pass in just the token, just the data, we pass in all the user. And all the user in this case is just the email, but it's good practice for further in case we want to add more things. And we see Bob. Very nice. Now when I refresh and I just come in here, I would like to load the user. So that'll be the home component that I'll do that in, actually, I think. Because we'll need to do a GraphQL query for that. Actually, we'll should be doing that in this menu component, I think. Because this is where we want it to get the user anyway. So let's actually do that. Assuming they're logged in, that is, which we will do next. So we're going to get a viewer, and that's actually a query that we're going to do. Viewer. Actually, I think I did all that for nothing, because I think when I add this GraphQL query, it'll cover It'll cover both cases, both when they're logging in and when they're just coming to this page, because now we have their token. Okay, so with this in mind, I can delete everything that I just created. Fantastic. So that's gonna, we really just want to grab the email and the ID. And actually, I'm doing this in the home page already, I think, because I'm grabbing the users to do. Viewer. We can also just grab their email. So now in the viewer query, we can set user. This.props.set user. Next props.viewer.viewer.data, I think it is. What do I call it here? Go to the query, viewer. Viewer just returns a user which has email. Okay. So now, and we're going to do this for the home page, whether or not they're logged in. Actually, yeah, that's fine. I was thinking for a second when they log in, we can also grab them their to-dos. That can be like an advanced thing we do later. So login, action. We really want to give this action to the home component, because they're going to be using it now. And so we don't need to set user there, because after we log in, we go to the home page, so we're going to do that query no matter what. So now we see Bob here when we refresh. Awesome. That's looking pretty nice. This seems like a good stopping point for now. We got this nice little menu working. We got Bob showing up. We got a login, log out screen working. In the next video, I'm going to be working on setting up lists. So we have multiple to-do lists that we can set up. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.